whether you like it or not. In the current digital era, most of your information doesn't belongs to you. In the sense, all the public information which you post belongs to the platform on which you post, unless it's your own website. And I would even go ahead and say some of your private data belongs to different companies as well. So one would try to think how much of control do you have on your own information, on your own data. And I guess it's very tricky answer, and honestly, I would say we have very little control, but we do have control over a lot of aspects of our life. First of all, uh, if you want the complete control of your data, you might want to stay away from participating in the technology with this internet and whatnot. But honestly, if you choose to do that, you would be missing out on a huge stream of opportunities because internet has created this industry, software industry, social media industry, in now even crypto industry, and these are just some I can think from top of my head, and there are like numerous others, and all of these industries will enforce you in some sense to participate with this whole internet. And with this participation, you are being vulnerable with your data. So, like I said, the simplest thing you can do is to choose not to participate in internet, but you will miss out on a lot of opportunities. And to be honest, this will become a lifestyle moving forward. So it would be almost impossible to live without internet. That being said, the next logical thing you could do is to be vigilant and conscious about what you post or how you interact with the digital media in general. So I guess there are a lot of strategies which you can use to prevent your own data. The simplest way would be to set up a VPN solution, if possible. VPN solution will add a layer between your device and the internet at large. So at least that will add as a first layer of security between your device's data and the internet. And the second thing you could do is to be vigilant and ensure that you are, say, using private mode when you're browsing anything, so that these companies doesn't harvest on your data. And on top of that, you gotta be vigilant to see which applications on your devices are collecting what kind of data so that you can control it. Especially in the recent days when we've been hearing that a lot of social media apps, without naming them, are actively listening to your conversation and reading the websites you've been browsing through, and maybe even reading your keystrokes. And that opens up a whole different can of worms, because not only these companies are providing you a service, but they're using you as a product, and they are actively harvesting your day-to-day activities so that they can sell you ad, a personalized ad. And this is a trick advertising companies have been using for generations. I mean, in the past, when the media was television or newspaper, the advertising agencies used to come up with these subliminal ads which can subconsciously trigger you to buy a specific product. And now has risen to a whole different level, because these ads are not only subliminal but also personalized. That means it knows what you want, what you're looking for, and it is specifically targeted towards you so that you are triggered to buy that particular product. And the painful part of that is at times these products are so exciting or something which you're actively looking for. So you end up clicking on those ads, and that create another a perpetual cycle where the system or the media has, or the platform has your information, what kind of product you actually bought, and then start feeding you more of those advertisements. So one of the strategies which I use is, if I come across any ad which I'm interested in, I just make a mental note of the product serial number or the price, and then open a private browser and specifically search for that. Because this way I'm separating the platform from understanding or from knowing that I actually like the product. So they can not feed me any more personalized ads, or they will at the very least try to figure me out, try to figure out what I actually like. And uh, the best thing you could do is throw them off. Uh, One of the other things you could do is to ensure that know which apps are tracking what data from your devices. Plenty of times there are apps which are running in the background which are collecting your location data without even your knowledge. And obviously, that would be used for different purposes, and you don't want to give it to them. So, with the recent iOS update, the Apple had took a stand and created a new category within their settings where you can basically just disable the tracking of the apps at the device level rather than at the app level. And I hope that Android will follow the suite, because it always does whatever Apple implements. So I hope Android does that too and give you better capabilities. And to be honest, Android might have already done it. I'm pretty I'm using pretty outdated mobile device, so I would not know. But that's one of the good thing these platforms or these OSs are coming up with, to prevent your privacy by giving you power or control to disable the tracking on the applications at the device level. But this may not be enough, because even though these apps stop tracking your data across different applications per se, they would still be able to track your activity within the app and would be able to collect the data. And I guess in some way that's fair, because you are using their product. But at the same time, I feel that you should be, or we all should be, able to actively participate, in the sense we should be able to sell our data instead of them just collecting it without our knowledge and selling it to someone else. That being said, the best strategy which I use to prevent my privacy as well as security is to set up unique passwords for every different for every website. And the way I do that is by using my personalized encryption. And I created this blog post a while back where you can use different strategies and create your own encryption tool, which you can use to set up unique passwords for every single website without remembering any of those passwords. I mean, you can just create a generic rule and follow that rule across different websites, and make sure that that generic rule have different attributes which will give you a unique password. And I'll post a link in the notes so that you can check out those posts as well. But that will empower you to secure your accounts across multiple platforms, because obviously we don't want to have to remember, say, 100 different passwords for 100 different accounts. But just using one personalized algorithm or encryption method, you can basically generate your own passwords and use the same algorithm across different platforms. I personally have like two or three different algorithms for different use cases, so that I don't have to I don't end up like using just one algorithm for all of my accounts. And if that algorithm or encryption is leaked, or if someone knows my method, then they'll be able to easily decipher all of my passwords. So basically, I have multiple encryption method for different websites or different purpose. So I have my own strategy. But that being said, am hoping that um, you all pay more attention to the privacy and the security, because this will be the next big thing in the technological evolution. Because with the current trend of designing devices which will at some point be embedded within, say, your glasses or within your different wearables, it will become more painful to detach your data from these devices. But if you plan it out in advance and have or and be very mindful and conscious of the data which you post online in general, but also in personal conversations with different people, then that will help you, uh, in a better way to have a better prevention and security for your digital persona. And keep in mind that there are still vulnerabilities when it comes down to this digital world, and especially when the digital world may not even reflect the person you are. It just create a personification of your data. It's, anyone who look at your digital avatar are just looking at the patterns of your digital trend and making a judgment or assumption about you. It may not even reflect you. So look at it in this way: while growing up, if you ever want to be famous, you are living your dream. You literally are famous. Your information is displayed to the entire world. So whatever you say, whatever you do online could be scrutinized. So keeping that in mind, be aware of the consequences. And to be honest, I've said a lot of dumb shit, and it's posted online too. And I'm okay with it, because I'm okay to be vulnerable and share a side of me which portrays me as not ideal, because I'm not trying to fake uh, an inauthentic persona. I want to be an authentic person in whichever avatar I am, in reality as well as in virtual reality. So I'm okay with that. But most of the people may not be, or some of people have some underlying trauma or patterns which could create a conflict within their real life and the digital life, and whatever that might be. The point being that we have to practice this mindfulness when we are interacting with digital content in general, because this is the only way we would be able to take control of our persona, and control to a certain degree, because even with all the mindfulness with which we post our information, there are still a lot of flaws and vulnerabilities within the system. And just being part of the system, we are signing up for these flaws. So I hope that the takeaway from this one-sided conversation is to be more mindful of what you post and the data you are interacting with in day-to-day life. Because trust me, not even half of the world's population is on the internet, and this is just gonna grow in the next decade or so. So if you think this is chaos, then be prepared for the amplified chaos. With that note, peace.